been a lot of talk about Cole for obvious reasons, but with Reese and Chris Edling gone, it's not a big. Is it not a big opportunity for Nick Lehman and Michael Walsh?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely it is. I mean, that position took a hit, and we knew it was coming. Lehman's been around here now for a couple years. We'll see what he's got. It's his chance to step up and see if he can do it or not. But he certainly has an opportunity. Walsh is a little bit Reese-like. Michael Walsh, he was a walk-on. We put him on scholarship. He's more of a niche tight end. He may not be on the line much, but he's certainly the cruiser. And then, Chimura is kind of limited because of the labrum surgery in the fall. And then Beelman's a guy, big lanky guy that's starting to get better here. So, we have some numbers there, but certainly the job's wide open. I mean, it's wide open. The reality is when we take the field next year against South Dakota, there'll be a tight end out there that's never been on the field before. You might as well just put Lehman in that group too.
If this is proprietary information, tell me. But I'm not seeing a lot of two tights out there. Is it still?
No, it's part of our thing. We're just trying to. We're working on some different things right now, honestly, kind of a little different direction with some of our stuff. But that's still going to be a big part of our package, yeah.
And obviously there are some Cole-specific things in the offense that probably don't involve the other tight ends.
Yeah, exactly. We've got some little packages where we tag Cole's name on it and line him up in some different spots. But we're kind of like that. If you look at us again, you look at the quarterback position. In some ways, it's that a little bit. The different guys can do different things. So we've become where we've got some weapons, with each guy maybe at spots being a little specific or a little different than the guy behind him, and we just got to try to take advantage of everybody. So we're doing a lot of different things. And it's compiled because the defense is doing a lot of different things, but we're just trying to find some pieces to the puzzle right now. But we do have a team that I think a lot of guys are going to get on that field and play for us that all do some specific things a little bit different.
7 practices in?
It's our new strength coach right there. Our new head strength coach is Armand Satchel. Yeah. Andy Grubb. Andy Grubb played for Urban at Bowling Green. Was a 3 or 4 year starter. Then, interesting, he went and got 2 degrees, one in seminary, one in religion, I think one from Duke. Then he got back into coaching. He went to Ohio State with Mickey Marotti, who was my strength coach at Notre Dame. He volunteered at Ohio State. And then he was hired at the University of Illinois by Aaron Hillman. Aaron Hillman was my assistant strength coach at Notre Dame. So he comes here from Illinois. That whole staff got turned over. He's about 320 pounds. He says he's the strongest guy on the team. I believe it. He said he can bench press 225 35 times. So we've Kyle, our assistant strength coach, went to Memphis, took a job at Memphis here 2 or 3 weeks ago. Okay. So Armand Satchel and Andy Grubb are our 2 strength coaches, and then we're going to hire a GA also.
What will you do with regard to Josh Dunquist's position?
Yeah, I'm going to, it's open. And we're looking at, we've had, an awful lot of applicants here just in the last couple of days. So we'll miss Josh. Josh made a lot of sacrifices to be here. He's got 3 children. Josh didn't make a whole lot of money, and I appreciate being able to keep him. You look at, we're a pretty good proving ground for people. Ben goes to Virginia Tech, and you go right down the line. If we hire people here, we got to be able to hold on to them, and we've been pretty lucky. But Josh, we're in a process right now, and we're going to go outside and hire someone for that job, recruiting coordinator.
7 practices in. How do you feel about the progress made?
It's hard. It's hard to tell. I mean, I want it to be honestly a little bit gritty and hard. I think sometimes, I've talked to you about this before, I think sometimes there's a tendency to want to make it look too good or too polished. You kind of want it ugly, and you want guys to have to fight through things, and you want it hard. I just want us to be a physical team. For us to take another step, we have to be physical, and we have to be a little tougher. And that's kind of what this is. We're out here for a long time. We're practicing 3 days a week because we're putting a lot of strain on them. But I kind of like it. It's pretty tough, and it's pretty gritty, and it's pretty competitive. So I'm pleased just with just with kind of the nature of it. Not so much what it looks like from the outside, but just the nature of how competitive it is.
At the wide receiver position, you talked a little bit about Quarles. We know Drennan's back there. You've mentioned him. I wanted to ask about Patrick Reed and where he is after all the time that he missed at the end of last year.
Still coming. I wouldn't say it's just natural for him catching the ball. Not that he doesn't have good hands, but it's not just a natural thing. He played quarterback a lot, and he played basketball, so he's still kind of fighting it a little bit catching. But he's a talent. We all of a sudden have some pieces at wide receiver and some talent at wide receiver and some size. So Patrick's a guy that just needs every rep. Matt Quarles was back out here today and is getting a little bit. Anu is a guy. Q Drennan's a guy. Delane Hart. So we have some big athletic receivers. We just have to get Quarles completely healthy, and Delane Hart. I don't know that we'll get much out of Delane this spring. Another guy that stepped up is Chris Davis. A guy that just continually. He's come a long way. He's come a long way. He consistently makes plays. He's not the biggest guy by any means. He's not the fastest, but he makes plays. But we've got some talent there. We really do, and we really do. We have a lot of talent at wide receiver.
You mentioned Delane. Is that because of the hamstring?
Yeah. It's the first one he's ever had, and he pulled that thing pretty good. He may be back by the end, but we'll be careful with him and be smart with him too. We kind of know what we have there.
What about the blocking piece of it with Patrick? Because that's a big part of your offense, those wide receivers.
Well, DeBess is coaching them now, so they don't have any choice. I heard him down there hitting the sleds down there. I thought there was a couple chihuahuas out there, pesky, like barking around. I didn't know what that noise was, but I turned around and the wide receivers were hitting the sleds. So, DeBess is going to put his imprint on it, and they have to be able to block. There's no question, and we've got the bodies to do it. We really do. We have the bodies to do it. So it'll be interesting to see.
We're watching Woodhouse bouncing back and forth. Where do you think his biggest impact could be this year?
It's hard to say. I know for sure special teams, and I know he can get his hands on the ball and carry the ball, and it just takes a little more time defensively. But he's going to be on the field. He's another guy, like I mentioned, that has some specialty things that I know he can do to help this team, and we've got to be able to trust those guys and get all our weapons on the field. And that's really what we're kind of trying to do right now, is just get the best guys out there.
Is this going to be a really challenging year for Coach Lensmeyer with the offensive line, given what's departed?
It's been challenging. It's been challenging, every step of the way. And really, again, they've probably, when the bottom line evaluation comes in, they've probably exceeded these first few years, but we've had some setbacks there. There's no way to hide that. We've had some setbacks, more than we actually should have or hoped we would have. So yeah, it continues to be that, but at least he has bodies, and we've got some young guys coming in that we're really excited about. Of course, they're still young guys and still coming in. They're not here yet, but I think we're going to be okay. Right now we're not, but I think by September, I think we're going to be okay there. Okay.
Thanks.
Beautiful
Thanks, Bob.
day, huh, man?